cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, nah, likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into...
What a game, everybody. It was an awesome game to see. I hope everybody had a fantastic time watching Kenny Pickett come up with a game-winning drive at the end of the game to win that game. 20, who cares what the score was? Steelers won. That was great. That was amazing. A couple of things that I want to talk about in reference to the game is George Pickens is for real, guys. Wow. That guy is going to be hard to cover for NFL defenses opposed from him. That guy's going to make any quarterback that's going to be starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season going to look very good. Some of the catches that he had were just amazing. I was really, really impressed by George Pickens. I was impressed by the offensive line. I know they had a couple of stutter steps here and there, but for the most part, they definitely seem to be higher or more improved. So love it. But welcome to the post game. This is Daniel Jaden, State of the Steelers. Please hit that like button and subscribe button. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat, if I sound okay. Usually start off with that, but wow, what a game, guys. What a game. We got Jaime in the chat. How's it going, buddy? And so, like I was saying, I was thinking that George Pickens is for real. But let's break down the game and go drive by. Well, not drive by drive, but, big drive by big drive. And we'll start off with the first one. I'll say that Mitch Trubisky looked poised. He looked confident. He showed his ability to move in the pocket, his elusiveness. He had a situation where he should have been sacked and ended up able to stutter step, get around, roll out, look down the field, not find anything, and still make a positive gain. I noticed that from him and Kenny Pickett also, and we'll get more into Kenny Pickett later, but Mitch Trubisky showed his movement, his ability to move. The offensive line, they did okay. They did better than they did last year, and this being their first game against an opposing team, they're only going to get better. And so watching this game, I thought they gave Mitchell Trubisky and Mason Rudolph a fair amount of time to throw the ball and make their reads. The touchdown pass to Gunnar Olszewski by Mitch Trubisky was wide open. That was probably Mitch's fifth read. And so, that just kind of tells me that he was able to progress.
Man, first I just like to thank the fans, man. They were really into it.
Mike Tomlins wanted to say hello. I guess I had the press conference on. I guess he started right now. Well, anywho, I thought he was poised in the pocket. I thought he was throwing the ball with great amount of accuracy and anticipation. He looked good. In the second and third drive, that stalled out a little bit. They're getting used to each other, in my opinion. And it's just, the first preseason game. Now, when Mason came in, I thought, no surprise when the first pass was the first pass attempt was a fumble, that the Boo Birds came out. I really wasn't surprised by that. Didn't look good, but boy, did that pass to George Pickens in the corner for a touchdown look great. A lot of people and a lot of folks are going to give a lot of credit to that catch, and sure they should. That was an amazing catch, and his ability to keep his feet in bounds, phenomenal. I told a couple of people out there that I was talking to, throughout the game, that this guy's giving me major Randy Moss vibes, and I think he's going to be special. He might be the rookie of the year, in my opinion. I mean, it might be a little early. It's the first preseason game and this and that or whatever, but I truly think, with what he's been doing in Latrobe, and now he's been able to showcase that against an opposing team this early, the Steelers got a steal, in my opinion, when it came to George Pickens, getting him in the second round of the draft. Bravo. But again, what doesn't get probably as much credit, it's going to be that throw Mason Rudolph had to the corner pylon there. I mean, that was an absolute dime. You could not throw that ball any better or position that ball any better than what he was able to do in that position. You know, I've harped quite a bit on Mason Rudolph being a quarterback that had a small margin of error, meaning that he was going to get the ball out quick, be very decisive. However, the quick and pass game, if there's a turnover, a penalty, or a loss for a big gain, then I didn't foresee him being one to overcome that. And he proved me wrong in this situation when, you know, he had the strip sack turn into a fumble, fortunately recovered by the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, you know, that did push the team back and put him in a bit of a hole. I believe it was like 3rd and 11, you know, when it came down to that touchdown pass. And so, you know, in other games in previous years, I would have anticipated Mason Rudolph throwing something underneath and hoping that the receiver makes something out of nothing. And so, in my opinion, it was a good showing by Mason Rudolph. You know, I found it interesting that they gave him more time than Mitchell Trubisky. I understand it's the first preseason game, but there's only 3 preseason games. And if Mitchell Trubisky is going to be the starter come week 1, then you would anticipate that the Steelers should probably have him playing a little bit more, getting a little bit more cohesiveness with the offense. You know, getting in the groove with the receivers and also with the offensive line. He's the one that is, you know, calling the protections and whatnot. And so when it comes to that, you would expect, or I would have expected Mitch Trubisky to play a little bit more. I mean, he's new to the team. This is his first season with the Steelers, first year in this offense. I felt that he probably should have gotten a little bit more playing time. In my opinion, maybe more playing time than Mason Rudolph. Mason has been on the team for 5 years now. The Steelers kind of know what he is. And although he did surprise me with his ability, or with the throw, not his ability, but with that throw, making that throw or deciding to throw that throw to Pickens in that 3rd down, as much as surprising as that is, he's still who he is. And I would think that the Pittsburgh Steelers would have wanted to see or have Mitch play a little bit more than just slightly less than a quarter. That's just my opinion. But I did mention earlier, I did have a show that came out that if Mason Rudolph saw a tremendous amount of playing time, it could be because the Steelers are showcasing him for perhaps some draft capital. Now, what I was able to see out of Kenny Pickett and from Mitchell Trubisky tonight, and like I said, this is just one game, but from what I was able to see from both of them, I am confident in Kenny Pickett being that number 2 guy behind Mitchell Trubisky, you know, waiting his time or being, you know, performing to the ability to take over at the starting position at a certain point, whether it's this year or next year. But having Mason Rudolph there as well is, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have. It's not a bad problem to have 3 starter capable quarterbacks. I just feel that there could be some draft capital to gain from that. Let's see. I'm just going through some comments real quick. Steelers fan says, great game, and my Mason delivered. Yeah, he did. He was very, very that ball that he threw, like I said, is not going to get enough credit for the play in its own, but he is quietly becoming a very good quarterback, in my opinion. Like I mentioned before, in my opinion, it was the short passing game that wasn't something that thrilled me. But if he's going to be making these types of plays, if he's the best man for the job, so be it. I just think that Mitch played pretty good, and Mitch's ability to move out of the pocket, especially out of that one sack, he looked more comfortable back there as well, in my opinion. And so I don't know. It'll be a good run, but I don't think that anybody gained or lost any movement in where they stand. Meaning, I don't think that Mitch Trubisky separated himself from the other quarterbacks tonight, nor do I think any of the other quarterbacks, narrowed that gap or anything like that. And so it was a good game. All of them played very, very well. I was very impressed. Let's see. George Teston, how's it going? He says they all delivered. I agree 100%. Let's see. Lou Dietrich says, great game for all three quarterbacks. Glad to see it. Yes, it was. One thing that I really was impressed when it came to Kenny Pickett was, well, let's put it this way. One of the biggest attributes that Coach Tomlin loved about Ben Roethlisberger was the fact that when times got tough, when the game was on the line, the situational football, so to speak, Ben Roethlisberger didn't panic. He never freaked. He was on his game. And Kenny Pickett delivered tonight. He stayed poised. Yeah, it was, even though it's a preseason game, it's his first outing as a professional athlete. And he was expected to perform at a certain level, given he was the only quarterback drafted in the draft this past season. And so, with that being said, the pressure must be high. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about what Desmond Ridder did, what Malik Willis did in Tennessee in their debuts. So the pressure must have been high. He was put in that situation and he delivered, regardless of, let's just say that last play, it going into the end zone probably had more to do with the receiver than the quarterback. However, the quarterback was throwing the ball in a position or in a place to extend the game for a closer shot for a walk-off field goal, and he delivered in that moment. He made the right pass. He made the right throw. The fact that the play broke down the way it did, none of that happens if the pass isn't where it's supposed to be. And in that moment, with only 3 seconds left at the end of that play, to score a touchdown in that manner, that kind of tells me that this kid really does have that it factor. He has that special sauce that Ben Roethlisberger had that got him through these games, the clutchness. And that's a good attribute to show right now this early in his career. I'm excited about it. Really, really am. Let's see what else we got. We have M-Man Mary. She says they never played Ben that much in the preseason. No, well, I don't recall him playing that much either, even in 2004. But back then there was a different type of preseason schedule. Jaime Garcia goes, don't look at me, little Seahawk. That's funny. Coach T called out Jalen's fumble. Yeah, that was one of the things that Coach T had emphasized prior to the game, is that if you want to make this team, ball security is key. I had seen this on I think he's on Instagram now. Coach T is, and I was watching some of his videos and he was talking about those things. It's pretty awesome that he's doing that. Anywho, if you're going to make this, if one of these running backs are going to make the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have to show great special teams and great ability to hold on to the ball. Fumbling the ball in that moment of the game was key. Now, I think that Jalen Warren's ability, or his play on the field, he did really, really good. I think the Steelers found their RB2. I don't remember seeing Benny Snell take the field as a running back. And so that might be some bad news for Benny there. But with Jalen, he played like a little bowling ball. He did really good. And I understand that he had that fumble in that moment, and Tomlin pulled him at that after that play. And, he was out for one play. McFarland came back in, and he had a run. And then after that, Warren came back in. And so, but man, I think that Warren really, really impressed. There's been a lot of talk about him in training camp as far as his ability to run, his vision, his shiftiness. Even himself, he talked about how he wasn't always the fastest running back, so he had to learn how to be shifty, how to move inside the running lanes and whatnot. And he really showcased that. And, I really think that the running backs did very, very well today. Even Master Teague, man, that guy is like a man running amongst boys. He is he's like a lumberjack out there, just knocking down trees, boom after boom. He played very well. All the running backs did, and even McFarland. I was very pleased with McFarland's performance early on in the game. He had several big runs. He wasn't tripping over himself. He wasn't falling down. He seemed to run with more control. He seemed to run, with more grace and direction as well. It was a lot less of, man, I described him as Ryan Switzer, but a fast Ryan Switzer in the backfield. The guy that's when Ryan Switzer would catch a punt, go back and forth, side to side really fast, and then not go anywhere. And that's kind of what I had seen McFarland up until this point. And to see him come into this game and really show out, that was awesome. That was really awesome. But when it comes to like winners and losers in this game, when it's in the running back position, the biggest winner in my opinion, it's going to be Jaylen Warren, and then it's going to be Anthony McFarland. And the biggest loser in this game is probably going to be Benny Snell, since he was MIA throughout the entire game on the offensive side. And Durant, I didn't really see much of him. He had a pretty awesome block there on one of those plays where I believe it was Kenny Pickett was breaking down and running. But outside of that, I didn't see him do much in the running game. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers may have found their RB2. And I think that Jaylen Warren can be a guy that can really give Najee Harris a break from here for every now and then. I don't think it's going to be a smart decision to give Najee Harris 350 plus touches in a 17-game season where there's only one team that gets a first round or first game bye in the playoffs. It sounds you're putting too many eggs in the regular season, and if the Pittsburgh Steelers make the postseason and are in there with a limping Najee Harris, that doesn't bode well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so, getting that RB2 is huge, and seeing what Jaylen Warren was able to do tonight, that was awesome. That was really good. Let's see. Steeler fan says, McFarland was awesome. George Teston goes, McFarland, Warren, and Teague all impressed me. Yeah, I agree 100%. The only thing is, I'm starting to see where the Pittsburgh Steelers are only going to keep 3 running backs and a fullback. So 4 running backs, including Derek Watt. And so you got Najee Harris, you have Anthony McFarland. I think that one bone is going to be 3-back set. You're going to have Jaylen Warren, you're going to have Benny Snell, and you're going to have Master Teague fighting for that one position. And in my opinion, given what Jaylen Warren showed tonight, I would venture to think that the Steelers are probably going to give him that opportunity and put Master Teague and see if they can get him on the practice squad. That's where I'm thinking they want to, move in that direction. One thing I noticed also, guys, was McFarland was playing a lot of special teams early on as well. I really do feel like this is the end for Benny Snell after this game. Let's see. Hey, Devin, how's it going? Here we go, show. Kenny Pickett is him. Kenny Pickett did very good today. I was highly impressed with him. He started off, in my opinion, being a little bit conservative, throwing the short ball, not going deep. But then after, I want to say, that second series where they didn't do anything, he started to open up in the third series and started moving the ball and showing that poise and that confidence. And I really think he showed out. He did, he had all the pressure of what the quarterbacks that were drafted behind him had recently done in preseason, and also having the game on the line, and was able to show out. Man, kudos to that kid. He's going to be special, in my opinion. I really do think so. He can continue in this trajectory. I do not think that he's going to overtake, Mitch Trubisky before week 1. But, man, I can already hear the Kenny chant, the chant for Kenny Pickett the first time Mitch Trubisky throws a pick. I already can hear it. And so It's going to be one of those situations where it may be uncomfortable for Mitchell Trubisky if he starts throwing interceptions, because the chance for Kenny Pickett are going to be like crazy. Let's see what else we have. We have Pittman saying Pickett is that guy. And then he also goes, Derek Watt is useless. Derek Watt didn't play today. He was on the sideline. He was one of the, I'm guessing, healthy scratches. I didn't see him padded up. And so I did see him on the sideline walking around, though. Let's see. Steelers Nation says Miles Boykin. Hold on one second. He's the hometown hero from my hometown, so I'm really rooting for him, and he did pretty solid today, in my opinion. One thing about Miles Boykin that I'll say that is really in his favor to make me think that he's going to make the 53 is that he played a lot of special teams. He's a special teams demon. And so Mike Tomlin loves those specialists, and the fact that he played significant playing time and snaps on the offense and on special teams leads me to believe that he might be making the 53. Now, Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have some decisions to make when it comes to the wide receiver corps. Calvin Austin didn't play tonight. He was, I think he had an injury earlier in the week, nothing serious. And so he didn't play, but Sims showed out. Gunnar Olszewski showed out. Of course, George Pickens showed up. And so, Deontay Johnson didn't play. Claypool didn't play. And so there's got to be some decisions made here as far as which receivers the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to keep. They can't keep them all. But, one thing that I was surprised in, so I don't recall seeing Gunnar Olszewski returning kickoffs or punts. So he might be a guy that might be a clue, so to speak, as to who might be a guy on the outside looking in. Like I said, if you don't see him on special teams where these are guys that are lower on the depth chart when it comes to the offense or the defense, then chances are they're not going to be making the team. When you have Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Claypool on the team, I don't think Gunnar Olszewski falls right behind them. I think, we're going to have to see what Calvin Austin does, still. But given what he's done so far in camp and his pedigree and what he's shown that he can do collegiately, he may be a guy that's making the team. So the receivers did great. Boykin did very good. He caught the ball very well, caught the ball with his hands. And like I said, he was out there significantly on special teams. That makes me believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be keeping Boykin around. Let's see. George Teston says, I liked Boykin and Sims also. At least through the preseason, we'll see. Yep, that's exactly right. Tyler Nash says, I agree. What is the deal with Derek? Well, the Derek Watt, he has some pedigree. He's been known as being a great fullback. Pittsburgh Steelers haven't really used him recently. And in my opinion, it might be more due to the fact that who we had at quarterback and the game plan that needed to be done based on the type of player Ben Roethlisberger was or wasn't at the end of his career as to why the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't use him very much. It's been reported that they've used a two-back set quite often this past training camp. And so he might be somebody that is going to start to be used more often, but he's also a special teams captain. And like I said before, special teams is huge for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so a lot of folks have, or a lot of sports writers have kind of come to make me believe, at least, that when you look at Derek Watt, not look at him so much as a fullback, but as a special team specialist, similar to your like Tyler Medikevich, aka Dirty Reds players, those type of players. So, and Pittman says cut Derek Watt and Benny Snell. That's quite a possibility, to be honest with you. If Master Teague can show up and show that he can do some blocking and maybe potentially, get on the special teams, then maybe he can push Watt out. Connor Hayward, he showed tonight that he isn't the fullback, or at least the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't going to use him as a fullback. They're going to use him as a tight end swing, tight end back. And so, with that being said, I think the Steelers do want to have a fullback style, running back on the team. But Connor Hayward is another guy who showed up tonight. His hands and his ability to catch the ball, it's there. It's there. I was kind of concerned because of his height and his size, given the position and what NFL teams are doing with the position nowadays. He kind of worried me. He had a similar height and similar speed as Thaddeus Moss, who was drafted, or who was a rookie last year and didn't do much. And so I was a little bit kind of concerned that the Steelers may have gotten him because of his name, not so much because of his skill set. However, he proved me wrong. It was a night of me getting proved wrong, I guess. But he proved me wrong tonight that he's a good tight end. One of the things that's come out of training camp about him is that his route running is very crisp, and his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, or his ability to catch the ball with his hands, is up there. And so he's got some sweet hands, is how they've been described. I'm excited about him. He might be a guy that can push maybe perhaps Derek Watt off the team. But I don't know. We'll see. If Derek Watt doesn't get on the field the next preseason game, Mike Tomlin has always said your best ability is availability. And if Derek Watt can't get on the field, and then there might be a situation where he finds himself off the field, so to speak. But yeah, guys, I really enjoyed that game. I thought it had a different atmosphere than a preseason game. That is definitely for sure. You can hear it from the screen, from the TV screen and whatnot, how enthusiastic the fans were to see Kenny Pickett. And I think he did fairly well. This is his first, this is the first glimpse of the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that the future is bright. I think this year, though, one thing that we haven't even seen yet is Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, Claypool on the field with George Pickens. I think this offense is going to be scary, guys. I really do. And I'm thinking this team's going to win the North this year. I know it's the first preseason game, and I might be wearing my black and gold goggles, but seeing what George Pickens is able to do without those guys on the field right now, that leads for for a dangerous team, in my opinion. And the other thing is much of the defense wasn't playing, and so it makes you wonder, or it makes me think, if our offense looked as spectacular as they did without the stars tonight, and when they're playing against the Steelers defense and they're not doing so great, maybe it's because the defense is that good. And I cannot wait until the starters come back. We get a glimpse of them. I can't wait for the start of the season for games to be real. And I can't wait for the Pittsburgh Steelers to surprise Joey Burrow and the Bungles come week 1 and punch him in the mouth. But, man, this is it was a great game. It was a great game. Let's see. We have Lou saying, just watch the replay. Pickens pancake Kobe Bryant with authority. Pickens is going to be a man. He's going to be a dog, guys. He's the Steelers draft, in my opinion. I am already fixing to order a Color Rush George Pickens jersey. I would have had one already if he had got number 1. I've said this before. If the Steelers gave him number 1, I would have had number 1 already. The fact that he got number 14, I was like, whoa, let me see what happens first. And, man, I regret not getting it. I should have been sporting it right now. He's going to be a guy. I'm predicting him to be in the Rookie of the Year right now. Let's see. But that getting said, guys, we're hitting that 30-minute mark. We'll be doing please hit that like and subscribe button. Earlier this year, we gave away 2 tickets to the Jets game. If the Pittsburgh Steelers make the playoffs, and host the playoff game, we're going to be giving away tickets to that game to a subscriber. The only thing you have to do to enter that contest is be a subscriber. So please hit that subscribe button and ring that notification button so you don't miss that contest if it were to happen. If not, we're going to give away 2 tickets again next year. So besides that, we also do a daily segment where I talk about and give my opinion about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then on Saturdays, we do a Saturday morning live Q&A. You don't want to miss those things, so hit that subscribe button. Also, guys, if you haven't done so, wherever you go get your audio podcast, go look up State of the Steelers, Behind the Steel Curtain. I had a podcast come out this morning referencing this game tonight called The Kickoff to the Season of Change. Don't want to miss that. So wherever you get your audio, find Behind the Steel Curtain. I am one of their newest audio only hosts. And so I had my third episode premiere today. Go check that out. Go check out all the content that we've done before. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers.